Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Beth Blake-Hedges. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm serving as your worship associate this morning. I am joined by our worship leader, Alex Capitan, whose pronouns are ze, per, pers. Alex is a trainer, speaker, consultant, editor, and anti-oppression activist, and a member of the Transforming Hearts Collective, and lives in Western Massachusetts.
Make it one person.
We are excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad to have you with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. We have 4 announcements today. So I'd like to call up Helena for the first one.
Good morning, everybody. So it's been an exciting weekend. Some of you were here Friday night, and we had an amazing concert. Some of you were here for dinner last night, and that was a lot of fun. But today, this afternoon, at 3 o'clock is the reason that we're all here. It's Chris's installation. It will be live streamed, so if you want to stay home and watch it, you can do that. Yes, it will. But we would love you to come and fill this hall with joy and let us celebrate together that we are so happy that we are installing Reverend Chris today as our minister. So we have a lot of special guests. We have a lot of special guests, and welcome to Horizon. We're so glad you're here celebrating with us. And thank you for being here, and we'll see you guys later.
Good morning, everybody. I have a visual aid. Okay, so lots of people are saying, if they haven't gotten their t-shirt already, where's my t-shirt? So in an effort to be fully communicative and clear, I have a little announcements if you want a written report. Here's the thing. We distributed 2 batches of t-shirts, except for one that I don't know, the person hasn't been here in a while. I guess I'm still. Batch 3 has been printed, but the t-shirt print shop isn't open on Saturdays. I found that out in person yesterday when I went to pick up our shirts for today. But anyway, then now we're all working on batch 4. We're going to be able to order t-shirts all the way through March. And then at the end of March, that's going to be the end of this project. But let me tell you something. This project, due to your generosity and participation, has raised over $600 for the general fund for Unitarian Universalism at Horizon UU. So, plus they're pretty.
Thank you all so much for participating in the auction. We raised over $2,300. You should have gotten an email if you won something. If you are somebody who supplied something, I will send out emails tonight with who won and their contact information so you can get in touch with them. On to the next fundraiser. So you should have seen in your newsletter Friday, which we all read our newsletter, right? Okay. The advertisement for the chili cook-off and cookie bake-off. There's a poster on the board next to the kitchen, and I have some inserts that, unfortunately, because of mess up on my part, didn't get put into the order of service, but I have some, and you can also check it out online in one of the Facebook or Instagram or something like that. And it's up there. Thank you very much.
I have an exciting announcement for y'all this morning. So in January, we let you know that Carmen is intending to retire in May. I am excited to let you know that on Friday, I hired a new pianist for Horizon. I would like to introduce you to Lucas Schreier. Lucas is in the first year of a Master's of Clarinet performance at the University of North Texas, where he also studies piano. He Grew up in Illinois. He says he's still new to Texas and 80-degree days in February. And he has been working as a church pianist in Lutheran and Episcopalian congregations since he was a teenager. He was by far the most experienced candidate we interviewed at his young age. In his free time, he says he enjoys petting my cats, Peter and Piper, playing tennis, and running. He says, I'm excited to get to know the congregation and to make music with everyone. You all will get to meet Lucas in person in the coming weeks. Carmen and Lucas and I are going to be developing a plan for transition after the installation. But we hope that you will make Lucas feel at home and let him know how excited we are to have him here. I also want to thank Kel, our director of music, as well as Deb Freeman for their assistance during the hiring process.
As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys and sorrows and concerns. You're welcome to fill out a joy and sorrow slip on the table near the welcome desk, in the pockets in the back of the pews, or on the table up here. And you are welcome to come up and light a candle. This can be done at any time before the service or in service from the beginning through the offertory.
Good morning, everyone. It's so lovely to be here with you all. My name is Alex. My pronouns are Z and Per, and I am going to give you some words to call us into worship together. And these words come from Reverend Michael Slack. Spirit of wonder and power, great love that has wrapped us in the magic of our presence here together, we offer our deep gratitude for the earth and the life in abundance she makes way for this moment and these people, for the time we've already had here together to laugh, cry, break bread, cut up, learn, and grow together, for the things we always manage to do when we get together, open hearts, believe in the impossible, feel with our whole everything a joy too often unattainable when we are apart from one another, for all of the people in our lives whose prophetic words and deeds have paved the way for our dreams, our insights, and this very gathering to take place. What a great blessing it is to be here together. Let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting this morning is from Reverend Julian Jamaica Soto, from their book, Spilling the Light. We haven't found enough dreams. We haven't dreamed enough, Georgia O'Keeffe. The world makes many demands on your time, your skin, your heart, until you are left gasping and wondering if you will ever do enough, have enough, be enough. Stop your counting, measuring, and checking. You are enough. So much more than enough, made from fragments of the galaxy. You do measure up. And to recover from the doubt pressed upon you, the antidote for doubt is dreaming. All the dreams that call to you, lime green and frosting pink dreams, the other soft and tender dreams that run blue to gray, sky indistinguishable from lulling sea, the dreams that seem impossible. Listen, this is their nature. If they had already happened, then they would be realities, solid and smooth, like the round bone home of an unbroken egg. Be brave enough to name your dream, nurture it, and allow the rhythm of your breath to bring your dreams to life. Please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth. Thus do we covenant together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, John Lennon's Imagine.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us, only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Well, today we're going to be doing something a little different for our story, but there are some things that are going to be the same. Horizon donates to MetroCrest Services Pantry. We donate shelf-stable food items and also personal care products. And I'm going to ask you to, instead of passing them to a young person today, to drop them after service in the basket here or in the lobby. And I am not going to be calling anybody up front today, but I am going to sit on the storytelling stool and tell you a story, which is called What Do You Do with an Idea? And it is by Kobe Yamada, illustrated by Mae Bessem. What do you do with an idea? And I love the illustrations in this book, and I think you will too. One day, I had an idea. Where did it come from? Why is it here? I wondered. What do you do with an idea? At first, I didn't think much of it. It seemed kind of strange and fragile. I didn't know what to do with it, so I just walked away from it. I acted like it didn't belong to me. But it followed me. I worried what others would think. What would other people say about my idea? So I kept it to myself. I hid it away and didn't talk about it. I tried to act like everything was the same as it was before my idea appeared.
But there was something magical about my idea. I had to admit, I felt better and happier when it was around. It wanted food. It wanted to play. Actually, it wanted a lot of attention. It grew bigger, and we became friends. I showed it to other people, even though I was afraid of what they would say or what they would think or what they thought when they saw it, and they would laugh. I was afraid they would think it was silly. And many of them did. And they said it was no good. They said it was weird. They said it was a waste of time and that it would never come to anything. And at first, I believed them. I actually thought about giving up on my idea. I almost listened to them. But then I realized, what do they know? This is my idea, I thought. No one knows it like I do, and it's okay if it's different and weird and maybe a little off. I decided to protect it, to care for it. I fed it good food. I worked with it. I played with it. But most of all, I gave it my attention. And my idea grew and grew, and so did my love for it. I built it a new house, one with an open roof, where it could look up at the stars, a place where it could be safe to dream. I liked being with my idea. It made me feel more alive, like I could do anything. It encouraged me to think big, and then to think even bigger. It shared its secrets with me. It showed me how to walk on my hands because it said, it's good to have the ability to see things in different ways. I just couldn't imagine my life without it. Then, one day, something amazing happened. My idea changed right before my very eyes. It spread its wings, it took flight, and it went up into the sky. I don't know how to describe it, but it just went from being here to being everywhere. It wasn't just a part of me anymore. It was now a part of everything. And then I realized what you do with an idea is you change the world. So if we have any kids or young at heart that would like to go play in the back, please go ahead and follow me and we will sing you out.
The offering that we take each Sunday isn't just a stale habit. It's an opportunity to recommit to this place and to this people. Our offering is an affirmation, a yes. When we give, we say yes to something we value. With our gifts, freely given, may we say yes to the values of our faith. May our offering help us practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation as tools to empower our mission, to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. Thank you to our members and friends who give and pledge electronically. If you would like to give electronically, you may do so on the Breeze app or online at horizonuu.org/donate. The offering will now be joyfully given and received. Thank you for your generosity. This first reading is the first part of the poem Impossible by Harry Baker. I'm finding it too easy to tell myself things that are too hard when facing the end, that it's too late to even make a start. But if we take impossible to mean that we don't have a chance, that we have lost sight of how unlikely it was that we would get this far. The way the single fish outwits the shark by sticking with the school, the way the crescent moon outspins its dark to once again be full. Even winter, given long enough, begins to lose its cool. That which was once exceptional now barely registers at all. Flamingos and giraffes look like they were drawn by a child. We can't begin to comprehend all of the ways this world is wild. None of them asked if they were possible before they came to be. None of them have ceased to exist by being told they're make-believe. The bug, who finds it all too much and tries to shut off everything, only to have recovered and then summoned up the strength to stretch its wings. The snake, so full of itself that it cannot help but shed its skin. Or how instead of death, the hedgehog went to bed and slept till spring. To think the earth exists at this specific distance from the sun, down to the angle of the axis on which everything is spun. The fact that trees happen to breathe that which we need inside our lungs. It would all seem impossible had it not already been done. We are impossible to everyone who's ever gone before, and everyone who's yet to come will push impossible some more. Just as indeed, the do's we did outdo the don'ts we didn't. So everything's impossible until it isn't. We now take the time to honor the joys and sorrows of this community, knowing that we are all interconnected and what affects one affects us all. Kristen Cummings has several joys. Kristen and Eric celebrating their 19th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. And Henry's 13th birthday. I'm sure he's thrilled to have everybody know. Kel, his kids got the sweepstakes at UIL on Friday. He's super happy for them. That's okay. And so less stress now that it's over. Yay! Sue Ridnour these are for herself. Sorrow that she's being cheated out of 1 hour of celebrating a milestone birthday today. I totally get that. And joy that she gets to be here to celebrate her birthday today on this momentous day for Horizon. Pam Schumann fell on her face on Friday. If you notice, she's got a horrible bandage. It looks very painful, but it's a mess, but not permanent damage, so there's at least a good spot. And joy, the overwhelming love and concern she felt from her dear community of friends who came to her rescue. We lit a candle this morning also to honor all the joys and sorrows which have gone unspoken and reside only in our hearts.
We're next going to enter into a spirit of prayer or meditation in whatever way feels right to you, with these words from Reverend Bill Sinkford. After the reading, we will enter a time of silence, which will be broken by our responsive hymn, number 1015, in the Teal hymnal, How Could Anyone? Spirit of life and love, dear God of all nations, there is so much work to do. We have only begun to imagine justice and mercy. Help us hold fast to our vision of what can be. May we see the hope in our history and find the courage and the voice to work for that constant rebirth of freedom and justice. That is our dream. Amen. Blessed be.
How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How could anyone ever tell you you are anything less than beautiful? How could anyone ever tell you you are less than whole? How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul.
This reading is the second part of the poem Impossible by Harry Baker. We are impossible to everyone who's ever gone before, and everyone who's yet to come will push impossible even more. And just as indeed the do's we did outdo the don'ts we didn't, so everything's impossible until it isn't. The thought of rivers changing course before somebody gave a damn, or the tide might turn from shore before a line is drawn in the sand, we cannot know how far our actions go, the impact they might have. Sometimes, the only thing we can do is to do what we can. Just as the night is at its darkest when it's introduced to day, just as the dry is at its harshest in that breath before it rains, it's easy enough to believe in something when it's all okay, but it's when times are at their hardest that it's hardest to have faith. Here, when the light begins to fade, that's what we needed the most. It's by surviving day to day that we see seasons evolve. If there was never any doubt, there'd be no reason for hope. It could be too late to do anything. It sure as hell is if we don't. I'm tired of doom and gloom and self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm trying to find room to bloom and self-fulfill the opposite. When it's an act of revolution to try to stay remotely positive, there's nothing wishy-washy about opting to be optimists. Whether a brighter future is possible, we may not truly know, but the first step towards that future is imagining it so. And so as indeed the do's we did outdo the don'ts we didn't, So it remains impossible until it isn't. And when it's over, and we're no more than old bones within the ground, still the soil knows to sow its seeds from what's broken down. What is lost is always lost until the moment it is found. And these things only ever go one way, unless we turn them around. We are so constantly surrounded that it's easy to forget this world was built upon impossible. That's not stopped us yet. So yes, indeed, the do's we did outdo the don'ts we didn't. It only stays impossible until it isn't.
Engineers say bumblebees can't fly, their wings are too short and their bodies too wide. There goes one wandering by, happens all the time. There's just no way lightning could be born. They measure the clouds and it just can't form. It cracks the sky in every thunderstorm, happens all the time. It's impossible, it's impossible, it's impossible. Till it's not. There's a light in the night from stars long gone. Half-formed thought becomes a song. We rise from our grief and go on. Happens all the time. There's a lake you cannot seem to cross. A way to the woods I thought I lost. Clearing out everything it's time to toss. Happens all the time. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. Till it's not. So I won't say it cannot be. Hasn't happened yet, but wait and see. I've lived an impossible life, followed my heart against all advice. And yes, I've fallen more than once or twice. Happens all the time. Golden moon pulls us from our sleep, and it feels as close as our hands and feet. The road's too hard and it's too damn steep. We'll climb it anyway. It's impossible. It's impossible. It's impossible. Till it's not.
Thank you so much, Cal. That was wonderful. Engineers say bumblebees can't fly. It's not actually true, they don't say that. But there's an urban legend that says their wings are too short and their bodies are too wide, but there one goes wandering by. Happens all the time. It's impossible, impossible, impossible until it's not. If you told a caterpillar that one day it would become a butterfly, would the caterpillar believe you? How is it possible that a worm with short, stubby feet that munches on plants can transform into a creature with huge, elegant wings, long, slender legs, and a straw-like tongue that sips from flowers? Surely such transformation is impossible, but it's not. How does the caterpillar know to form a chrysalis? Does it know what will happen to it when it does? Does it have any idea that its body will literally break down into a kind of genetic goop? That its tissues and very cells will disintegrate? That it will digest itself before being reborn in a completely new form? Is it terrified? Is it eager? Is it answering a call that only it can hear? The idea that any creature would willingly undergo such a destruction of itself seems impossible, but it's not. Right now, the spring migration of monarch butterflies is just beginning. Millions of monarchs have wintered in the mountains of southwestern Mexico after traveling hundreds or even thousands of miles from all over North America to get there. Monarchs of North America are the only butterflies that make a yearly migration. It might seem improbable that an insect that weighs less than a gram could travel thousands of miles to get to its winter home. But what truly seems outside the realm of possibility is the fact that the butterflies that took as long as 2 months to get to the Mexican state of Michoacan are the great-grandchildren of the monarchs that made the journey the year before. The average monarch butterfly lives about 5 weeks. But every 4 generations or so, something impossible happens. A generation that can live for 8 months. The butterflies of this generation were made to migrate. They follow the path of their great-grandparents, stopping in the very same trees along the way to Mexico that their ancestors did the previous year. And right now, their children are beginning the journey back north. But the northern migration takes several generations to complete. How is it possible that, having never met its parents, much less its great-grandparents, a butterfly knows where to go and exactly which trees to roost in along the way? Surely such a phenomenon is impossible. But it's not. So much of our lives and our worlds are limited by what is imaginable, by what we believe about what's real and solid and true and possible based on our surroundings and our circumstances, right? Can the caterpillar believe, based only on the reality of its present circumstances, that it will grow up to be a butterfly? Never. It's not about belief. It's about faith. It's not about what's real. It's about what we can imagine. And it's not about what other people tell us we can do or be. It's about the call we feel deep inside ourselves, the knowledge of who we are, what we are meant to do, and who we are meant to become. When a caterpillar breaks down inside its chrysalis, there are highly organized groups of cells that survive the destruction. These groups of cells first form when the caterpillar is still developing inside its egg, and then they wait dormant until it's time for the caterpillar to become a butterfly. Then they direct the process of transformation. Each tiny cluster of cells is in charge of a different body part: eyes, legs, wings. These all-important groups of cells are called imaginal discs. Imaginal discs. These cells carry the imagination of flight, of wings, of a new form and a new world. Something deep within, held in just a couple of cells, knows and directs the caterpillar's destiny. Trans people know a thing or two about faith and transformation and imagination, right? When I was a child, I was told that I was a girl and that all people are either girls or boys. But something in me, deep in my cells or perhaps in my soul, knew that this wasn't true. And thanks to generations of people before me who refused to believe what they were told about gender, I was able to imagine and articulate my truth. That some people who are told they are girls grow up to be men. That some people aren't girls or boys. That gender isn't a set of boxes, but rather a galaxy of possibilities. We are told that these things are impossible, but they're not. There's a stand of trees a short walk from my childhood home in the midst of the largest wild open area in urban Milwaukee County. Every year in September, the monarch butterflies arrive at this same stand of trees, early in their journey to Texas and then on to Mexico. And every year, a small but dedicated group of butterfly lovers, including my dad, treks out to welcome them and rejoice in their brief visit on their journey south. But about 15 years ago, this stop on the monarch's migratory path was threatened by development. The butterfly's stand of trees and the habitat around it were in danger of being razed. And as the surrounding area was developed, the monarch numbers began to fall. Similar threats across the continent, as well as climate change, have brought the species to a crisis point. In the groves of trees in Michoacán, where the monarchs spend their winters, there were once so many butterflies, the sound of their wings was described as being like a rippling stream or a summer rain. But the wild weather fluctuations of climate change and loss of habitat and milkweed, their primary food source, has increasingly endangered the butterflies. In 2017, their numbers had fallen by more than 80% from the mid-90s. And in 2022, they were officially designated an endangered species. It was just reported that the number of overwintering monarchs in Mexico dropped by 59% this year over last year, to the second lowest level since record keeping began, reaching a point that scientists say could cause the collapse of the migration. The monarchs can't continue their impossible journey alone. In Milwaukee, my dad and other advocates came together to fight for the butterflies and succeeded in preserving 11 acres of land as a protected butterfly habitat zone. After years of habitat restoration, the past few years' monarch migrations through Milwaukee have been the largest ones in decades. We can't just wait for the impossible to seem possible before we believe in it and work toward it, right? We have to imagine the impossible and join together and work to make it possible. As a non-binary person, I might have been able to come into an authentic understanding of who I am and survive. But without other people around me who saw me as I truly am, believed in me, and supported me, and continue to do so, I never would have been able to thrive. Do you believe in butterflies? Even though everything about them seems impossible. Do you? Oh. Then you can believe in non-binary people, right? You don't have to understand what it's like to not be a woman or a man. It's not about belief. It's about faith. It's about letting go of what you've been taught is real and having faith that what is currently beyond your ability to understand or imagine is possible, because it's only impossible until it's not. Educator, writer, scholar, and spoken word artist Walida Imarisha has said that all organizing is science fiction. Community organizers and activists dedicate their lives to envisioning and creating another world, a world none of us has seen, a world that the current reality of our circumstances says shouldn't be possible. But we have faith that a different reality is possible, despite all evidence to the contrary. We have to imagine the seemingly impossible, not only for ourselves, but for all of us. A world free from oppression and exploitation, a world free from war and genocide, a world where all people have a safe home and enough to eat, a world where all life is honored. Can we imagine a world with no prisons, no police, no borders, no weapons of war? We need to. It's impossible until it's not. Once the imagination is unshackled, says Walida Imarisha, liberation is limitless. But oh, how hard it is to free our imagination from the constraints of what we've been told about what's real and what's possible, right? Given the current state of politics in this country, it is so hard to imagine a reality in which the United States is not ruled by two warring, ideologically divided political parties. Perhaps we can imagine abolishing the Electoral College so that all votes matter equally. Perhaps we can imagine establishing campaign finance limits so candidates can't be bought, can't spend billions of dollars in a single election simply on achieving office. Perhaps we can imagine what else we could do with billions of dollars. But can we imagine a reality in which, instead of two behemoth parties, the United States has 8 political parties represented in its national legislature, like Iceland does? How about a reality in which the original indigenous nations of this land have true sovereignty and equitable representation and decision-making power? How about a reality in which the United States, as we currently know it, no longer exists? Can we imagine these realities? We need to. It's impossible until it's not. I want to pose to you today that the work of imagining the impossible and then working to bring it to life is a spiritual practice. And it's the most important spiritual practice of our lives. Supporting each other and making the impossible possible is the only way we will survive as individuals, as a people, as a species. And it starts right here. It starts right now. It starts every time we have faith in the impossible and work to make it real. Whether it's a 3,000-mile flight of a butterfly, a community that affirms and values gender diversity, a liberatory political structure, or a world without violence. It starts when we embrace the challenge of imagining the best that this church community can be, the biggest, most impossible ways we can live into our values, and then work together to make those impossibilities come to life. Moments of disruption, like, I don't know, a pandemic, or perhaps calling a new minister, right? These are moments of disruption. These are moments when we have the opportunity to ask, who are we called to be now, in this new moment? What could this church community do if we weren't constrained by what we thought was possible? What if we are currently caterpillars? What transformation are we being invited into? I need to tell you that as I see it, this religion of ours is at a crucial turning point, as is our society, our country, our world. We have a choice to make. Will we take a leap of faith? Will we transform? Will we willingly undergo a destruction of all that we know in order to be reborn in a new form? Or will we stick with what feels most familiar, most normal, most possible? For decades, Unitarian Universalism has attracted and raised thousands and thousands of queer and trans people, people of color, disabled people, neurodivergent people, Spanish speakers, undocumented people, poor and working class people. Who would we be if all of these people had stayed? Instead of the vast majority of us leaving disappointed or feeling pushed out with the sense that this couldn't be our spiritual home, what would this faith look like, be like, act like if all of us had stayed? I am so grateful that I was raised within this religion. In fact, I credit it to a large degree with my ability to be my full, authentic self at a young age and to be the person that I am today. This is no small thing. Being raised UU was huge for me, life-changing and life-saving. But despite being UU for more than 30 years and visiting dozens of UU churches, I have never found a UU congregation that truly felt like home to me. The sort of UUism I was raised to believe in and practice, the sort of UU church I need, is multiracial and multilingual and multi-generational and multi-theological. It's full of queer and trans people and gospel music and pop songs and all kinds of ancestral wisdom and magic and saints. I need a UU church where children run up and down the aisles shrieking with laughter during worship services, where service means community care, not charity, where no one is forgotten or left behind because they don't have any money or don't have a ride or don't have a home or can't climb stairs or can't hear or see or are in recovery or are isolated for any number of other reasons, where every single person feels a deep sense of belonging and the knowledge that here you are cared for, here you are held in love, here you are safe, where every single person who arrives here or is raised here experiences unconditional love from their very first moment. Can you imagine it? Imagine what this church could be. That's the church I need. And you know what? I know I'm not the only one here who needs it. I know I'm not the only one here who is longing for this church and for Unitarian Universalism to transform, to keep growing and evolving into the best of what we can be. Does it seem impossible? Don't forget, the magic of the butterfly was buried deep inside the caterpillar long before it entered the chrysalis. Remember those imaginal discs? The essence was there all along, since before the caterpillar was born. It just had to allow what was inside to direct it beyond the limits of what seemed possible. The imaginal discs of who and what this church community can be, of who you are meant to become, are already within you. You see, I wouldn't be urging you forward if I didn't know you already have what you need to succeed. Resistance to moving beyond what's comfortable and normal comes from not believing that together we already have everything we need to be transformed. But it's not about belief. It's about faith. It's about allowing ourselves to imagine the impossible, have faith that it is in fact possible, and know that trying is worth the risks. So, my charge to you today, my dear friends, is to imagine, to welcome change, even change that might feel uncomfortable or scary or outside what feels real and solid and true and possible based on your present circumstances, to seize every opportunity to be reborn into something seemingly impossible, and to have faith in who we are meant to be and become and do together. Because, my friends, we must hold the seemingly impossible not only as possible, but as sacred. Walida Imarisha asked, are we brave enough to imagine beyond the boundaries of the real and then do the hard work of sculpting reality from our dreams? For me, the answer is clear. Political activist and author Arundhati Roy once wrote, another world is not only possible, she's on her way. Maybe many of us won't be here to greet her, but on a quiet day, if I listen very carefully, I can hear her breathing. May we all work to sculpt reality from our dreams and support each other in doing so, and together bring another, better world into being. May we all have faith in the impossible, because it's only impossible until it's not. Amen. Ashe, aho, and blessed be.
We extinguish this flame. But.
Am I supposed to say it too?
No, you're supposed to go and extinguish the flame.
I'm supposed to extinguish the flame.
Yahoo! Do you see the thing to put it out?
No. Yes. Out.
We're going well. We extinguish this flame, but not our commitment to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because We envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. I would like to invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing our closing hymn, number 129 in the gray hymnal, Let Love Continue Long.
Let love continue long and show to us the way. And if that love be strong, no hurt can have a say. And if that love remain but strong, no hurt can ever have a say. If love cannot be found, will common faith prevails. When love does not abound, a common faith will fail. When human love does not abound, a common faith will always fail. If we in love unite, debate can cause no strife, for with this love in sight, disputes enrich our life. For with this bond of human love, disputes can mean a richer life. May love continue long and lead us on our way. For if that love be strong, no hurt can have a say. For if that love remain but strong, no hurt can ever have a say.
Walida Imarisha asked, are we brave enough to imagine beyond the boundaries of the real and then do the hard work of sculpting reality from our dreams? My friends, may we be so brave. May we never allow ourselves to be limited by what's possible. May we go out into this day and into this world and together sculpt it from our wildest dreams. Go in peace, go in love, go in possibility.